Weston, Kentucky is a small rural community in Barren County, but there's a business here that's known worldwide. Let's talk about Kenny's Farmhouse Cheese, the business. How did it first get started? How did you first get the idea?
I tell people our cheese business is an extension of my passion to dairy farm for a living. And we've been dairy farming now for 41 years here in Barren County. And I got a chance to go to Europe in 1990, visit some farms in Holland, France, and Germany. And I was exposed to the value-added aspect of agriculture in a very neat way. Stayed on a farm in Holland that made Gouda cheese and buttermilk out of their small herd of milk, and it just really impressed me. I just was really impressed by that model of agriculture, and I wanted to bring that to Kentucky.
So you decided to do that, but then just because you decided to do it doesn't make it easy. So then what did you have to do at that point to learn how to do this?
Well, I think the first hurdles was getting approved by the state to be able to do it, get the permit. And they worked with us very well. The second hurdle was to build the infrastructure. The banks weren't too excited about loaning me money to make cheese on a farm in Kentucky. They thought I was already crazy enough wanting a dairy farm. So we had to kind of come up with our own financing, and we used trees off our farm for our lumber and family labor, and donated milk from the farm to the cheese business. So that was some of the hurdles we jumped, and also just the knowledge of how to make cheese. I give all the credit to my mom. She had people she could call and ask questions, mainly in Wisconsin and New England and Canada. That was where the cheese cultures were, so that's where we had to go to. And so just learning cheese making in itself. And she was a good cook, so she was very methodical about it and clean, and got us off to a good start that way.
After you got started, when did it first start becoming a pretty successful business? When you knew you had something, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, right out of the gate, we found chefs very excited about getting a naturally made, at that time, all raw milk cheese from Kentucky. I mean, the Louisville chefs and Lexington, Nashville, and so that was pretty, motivating. And you know that people were looking for what we were making. It wasn't trying to sell a product; it was just finding the people who were already looking for it. But it took, I guess, probably to the fourth year to really begin to see any profit. Just to learn to make it at a scale that was profitable and efficient, and to get enough market built about the fourth or fifth year. And that's when we started hiring some more help, outside family, and try to up production a little bit. About the sixth year, Churchill Downs chef came to us and wanted to use our product in not only the Derby time of year season, but also the fall horse meat. So that year they took about 9,000 pounds of cheese, which was about a third or a quarter of what we made that year. So that taught us to really learn how to make more in a shorter amount of time, and also it gave us some good cash flow, which we needed at that time in our business.
I guess you knew at that point you pretty much had arrived then, didn't you?
Well, we knew our brand was getting recognized, and there was that was the year, or maybe the year later, the Queen of England came to the Derby, and she was going to bring her own chefs and her own food, and the chef said, "No, we've got some good local stuff here you'll enjoy." And so our cheese was mentioned, that was part of what the Queen enjoyed while she was at the Derby. And so, we got some good breaks as far as the media attention. And along with that becomes more responsibility. Once your brand gets recognized, people expect quality, and then that makes us work harder to ensure that quality.
What's the process like there behind you in the couple of rooms there behind you? What's the process like from basically getting the milk to the plant here and then making the cheese eventually?
Well, we bring milk in that's probably never more than 2 days old. It's stored in bulk tanks in our barn where the cows are milked, and then we pump it over through the pasteurizer. Our cheesemaker starts about 5:30 in the morning pasteurizing milk. The process to take milk from milk to cheese in the mold pressed is about 9 or 10 hours, and then after that you've got aging time. But basically, making cheese is a controlled spoiling of milk. You're adding bacteria to create acid, which is the fermentation, and then you're adding rennet to bring the solids together in the milk. Cheese is the capturing of butterfat and protein out of the milk. And so all the steps, the cooking, the draining, the pressing, is all just getting rid of the water of the milk, which is the whey, and capturing the solids.
You also have to package it as well, don't you?
Yes, yeah. Today's a big packaging day. We'll have a team of 3 or 4 people cutting and packaging anywhere from 500 to 1,000 pounds. It depends on if we have a distributor order, which oftentimes they'll take 2,000 or 3,000 pounds per order. We're making and selling between 14,000 and 15,000 pounds a month, which is utilizing about 75% of our milk from a 120 cow herd.
As far as just selling the cheese, obviously you probably have several walk-in customers daily, but you sell it in other areas as well too, don't you?
Yes, we have a very diverse customer base, which makes me feel good because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Our customers include farmers markets, like you said, our walk-in customers from that might be visiting the state park or Mammoth Cave or other area attractions, and we're on a regional tourism catalog or brochure. Our largest customer is a distributor out of Louisville that distributes not only to restaurants in Louisville, but also Nashville is actually their biggest market. They're into Cincinnati and getting into Indianapolis. And we also work with some very small, specialized distributors around the country. I think our cheese is, on a regular basis, is being shipped to 15 states.
Starting back in 1998 and now fast forwarding to 2017, did you ever think it would ever get to this point of being so successful and so many people wanting your cheese?
No, I didn't visualize this. I didn't know how high to dream, I guess, but I just knew I wanted my milk my milk was more valuable than what the big companies were paying me for it. Right now, the milk that I don't use for cheese, that I sell to another company, that other farmers sell to these larger companies, we're receiving the same price we did 25 years ago. And we're going to see a lot more farmers lose their businesses this year, I'm afraid, because of that. So I'm very thankful that we have created our own market here on the farm where I can pay my farm a good price for the milk and employ 10 people that enjoy their work, and we can reward them financially and also with a good work environment, and that this farm, we see a future in it because our milk has value. I often tell people 2 of the blessings of this business has been to us is, the value added part, that it's making the farm financially viable, but also that it puts us in direct contact with the customer. Most farmers never get to meet the people they produce for, and there's a lack of accountability there, there's a lack of encouragement in that scenario. So, we get some challenging questions about how we do things, which is okay. It makes us think about what we do and makes us better, I think. And also we get a lot of pats on the back for making a good product, and it makes you want to keep going. And also, we get to meet the people that are enjoying our product. To hear maybe a young mother say, "Your cheese is the only cheese I'd feed to my children." I mean, that is unbelievable encouragement, and that's a big part of what keeps us going.
Kenny Mattingly says he built a new barn after high winds destroyed his old one last year. And now he has 2 apartments for rent in the upstairs. His business has totally evolved from a dairy farm only 2 decades ago. Reporting from Barren County, Kentucky, Barry Hyatt, NCTV.